Primitive. Primitive cognition is not a flaw. It is a foundation. At this level, the mind operates on instinct, reflex, and survival. Thought is not abstract. It is immediate. Danger, food, safety, warmth. These are the organizing forces of experience. You do not plan ahead. You respond to now. This is the intelligence of the nervous system before the mind learns to reflect. In humans, we see traces of it in infancy, in panic, in grief so heavy that language disappears. It is not lesser. It is ancient. The body knows things the brain is still catching up to. Strip away language, culture, and education, and this is what remains. A creature trying to stay alive. Respect that, because everything built above it rests on this. Concrete. Concrete intelligence is the mind that learns by doing. Not by reading, not by theorizing, by touching, building, failing, and fixing. IQ scores here tend to fall below 85, but numbers miss the point. These minds are not broken versions of abstract thinkers. They are a different kind of smart entirely. The person who can disassemble an engine and put it back together by feel. The one who reads a room before anyone speaks. They are present in a way most intellectuals never learn to be. Their knowledge lives in their hands, their instincts, their body. Society underestimates them constantly. School bores them or breaks them. But put them in the right environment and they outperform people with twice the credentials. They do not need to be fixed. They need to be placed correctly. Functional. Most people live here, and most of those people believe they are somewhere far above it. Functional intelligence is the backbone of civilization. IQ ranging roughly from 85 to 100. You follow instructions, complete tasks, navigate relationships, raise children, and hold down jobs. You solve the problems directly in front of you. You understand enough to get by, to contribute, to belong. There is nothing wrong with this, but there is a trap. Functional intelligence is comfortable. Life works. Problems get solved eventually. And because nothing is broken, nothing gets questioned. The person at this level rarely wonders why the system exists, only how to operate within it. That contentment is both a strength and a ceiling. The world is built for this level, and so it is the hardest level to grow beyond. Sharp. This is where thinking starts to accelerate. Sharp intelligence, roughly IQ 100 to 115, is the level where curiosity gets dangerous in the best possible way. You notice things, inconsistencies, patterns, gaps in what people say versus what they mean. Conversations start to feel like chess. You can hold multiple ideas at once, argue both sides, and still land on a position. School makes more sense here. Reading becomes a pleasure rather than a chore. Careers that require judgment, strategy, and independent thought open up. But here is the shadow. Sharp people can become arrogant before they become wise. They are smart enough to win arguments, but not yet humble enough to know which arguments are worth winning. Intelligence at this stage can sharpen the ego faster than it sharpens the character. Analytical. Analytical intelligence is where thought becomes a tool. IQ from roughly 115 to 130. These minds do not just notice problems, they decompose them. They trace causes backward and project consequences forward. Data, systems, logic, these are native languages. In a meeting, they are the ones quietly building a framework, while others are still arguing over surface details. They excel in medicine, law, engineering, finance, and any field where precision determines outcomes. But analysis has a cost. Over-reliance on it makes the world feel mechanical. Emotions begin to feel inefficient. People begin to feel irrational. The analytical mind can solve almost anything except the loneliness that comes from processing everything and connecting with almost no one. Exceptional. Exceptional intelligence sits in roughly the top 2%, IQ 130 and above. These minds do not just analyze systems. They see through them. Where others see a problem, they see the structure that created the problem. Where others reach conclusions, they are already 3 steps beyond, questioning the premise. They often felt alien in childhood, too fast for classrooms, too layered for small talk. They read obsessively, argued with teachers, and were called difficult. What they were was simply running at a frequency most environments could not match. The danger here is not failure, it is isolation. And the quieter danger, using immense intelligence to build elaborate justifications for staying small. Because the mind that can see everything can also talk itself out of anything. Visionary. Visionary intelligence does not just see what is, it sees what is missing from what is. These are the architects of futures that do not yet exist. They move through history as disruptors, reformers, founders of movements, demolishers of old assumptions. Nikola Tesla, Marie Curie, Ada Lovelace, their minds are not just fast, they are structurally different. They ask questions that make other smart people uncomfortable because the questions imply the entire current framework is wrong. Visionary intelligence requires more than intellect. It requires nerve, the willingness to be wrong publicly, to be rejected repeatedly, and to hold the vision longer than any rational person would. It is intelligence weaponized by belief. Synthetic. Synthetic intelligence is the rarest cognitive gift. It is not mastery of one domain, but the ability to dissolve the borders between all domains. Mathematics becomes music, biology becomes economics, theology becomes neuroscience. The synthetic mind sees the underlying patterns that generate different fields, rather than the fields themselves. Leonardo da Vinci did not just paint and engineer. He recognized that both were the same act, understanding form and force. Ibn al-Haytham moved from optics to philosophy to architecture, not by switching subjects, but by following a single thread of truth through all of them. This level demands a tolerance for ambiguity that most people find unbearable. The synthetic thinker never fully belongs to any discipline, because they belong to all of them. Transcendent. At the highest level, intelligence stops being about what you know and starts being about what you no longer need to prove. These minds do not accumulate answers. They dissolve questions. They sit in uncertainty without anxiety. They see through the performance of intelligence itself. Socrates claimed to know nothing and was declared the wisest man alive. The Buddha walked away from genius to understand suffering. Jung spent decades mapping the psyche only to conclude that the deepest layer of the self cannot be mapped. Transcendent intelligence is not loud. It does not argue. It does not need to win. It has seen too clearly that most arguments are not about truth. They are about fear. At this level, the mind becomes still, and in that stillness, it perceives what noise has always hidden. Every level of intelligence has a shadow. Every level has a gift. The question was never how smart you are. The question is what you are doing with the mind you were given. More videos like this are coming. Subscribe so you don't miss them.